Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the Chris Cup at Chris City 250 tonight, and it's going to be a fun show for us. We've got a total of, I believe, 17 drivers at the ready to show us 250 laps here at Bristol. Here in the booth with me, I've got Tom Bourne. My name is Sam Dyer, and Tom, 250 laps, that's a lot of racing here at this short track.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good race tonight. Bristol always brings out sometimes the worst in people, but also great racing. So I'm excited to see what's going to go down.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and this is now going to be, counting this race, 6 more races until we get to the chase, and 16 drivers out of everyone that's been running will make the chase. And the points at the moment, they're not extremely hard to get in. Our top 16 looking very solid, but at that buffer zone, you've got Chris Leach as well as Chris Newman. There's a 10-point difference between those two cars, but tonight it's going to be an interesting race to see, because I don't believe, nope, they're both in here, but they're both going to be starting in the back, not putting down a qualifying time. But right now we're going to look to see what our starting positions are going to look like. Christopher Tate going to be getting the pole today in that 25 machine, and right next to him it's going to be Christopher Lawrence in second.
Yeah, you got Chris Hoopka. There we go.
Hoopka, yeah.
Yeah, and Chris Papa in row number 2.
Yeah, these guys, it's Tom's first time here in the booth, so if we make some mistakes, it's going to happen. We're going to have a good old time, though. In 5th, it's going to be Christopher Reese, Chris Bass, and then back in 7th place, it's got to be Christopher Ritchie, Christian Roos, and then you got Chris Rivas. That 7 machine, I'll be honest, I will continue to struggle. One of these days, I need to contact you, Chris, so you can tell me how to say your last name right. Then we got Chris Mesa in 10th place. The rest of the drivers did not qualify. And Tom, can you give us a rundown on those drivers?
Yeah, Christopher Takis starting in 11th, Chris Personette in 12th, Chris Noblet 13th, Chris Jones 14th, Chris Leach in 15th, and Chris Newman rounding out the field in 16th, as the pace car's going to be coming off here, Sam.
Pace car rolls off 250 laps here at the Chris 250 here in the Chris City, and oh my goodness, Christopher Tate, no one took off with them. I mean, Lawrence just was stuck.
Yeah, Chris Tate opens up a big gap already to second place, Chris Lawrence, as that's going to be what they need to do. It's going to be tough side-by-side racing, so we'll see what happens.
Well, looks like our top 2 able to get themselves figured out, but it's everyone from 3rd on back that are in a single file train trying to figure out when they're going to make moves. I mean, there's already a 1.3 second gap between 1st and 2nd, but it's right here in 3rd where you're starting to see some side-by-side action.
Yeah, Chris Bass and Christopher Papa falling back on that outside lane, as looks like Hoopka and Bass both pass them that lap.
Christopher Takis is going to be the car that I'm wondering how well he's going to do getting through the field. And, it's awesome to see all of these different Chris machines. It looks like the 7 machine having early issues already down. I think he might have hit the wall with no caution coming out, but there's issues for the 7 machine.
Yeah, he was being a little cautious in qualifying. I'm not sure if he did get the wall like you said, or he's just trying to take it easy right now. It's going to be a long race, so these guys are going to have to stay out of trouble.
Right now, though, it's Christopher Tate with a 2-second gap on 2nd place. And you're starting to see Takis up to 7th, about to make a move here on that Crisco car and that 13 machine of Christopher Papa. But I mean, all these guys, they've had a couple of fun weeks in Texas. There was some fun racing that went down with Chris Bass, able to get the win there. And then last week at Talladega, I mean, it was on Saturday, where we got to see Chris Otto get a win there. Don't believe Otto was able to make today's race, so we're going to be seeing a different driver, no longer a winning streak going on. But like I said, I think Takis is the car to watch out for, to make a big charge up front as he makes another pass, moved himself up to 6th place.
Yeah, the 13 car got the wall off turn 4 that last lap. That allowed Christopher Personette and the 35 machine, Christopher Ritchie, to move past it. As everybody looks like it's going to be single file again. As really there's no battles going on through the field.
Right now we're going to bring up the track telemetry and show you what's going on out there. I know it's a little off right now, but that top temperature is the outside temp, 77 degrees, track temp, 80 degrees. Tom, with the track only being 80 degrees heat into it, I know it's a nighttime track, but does that, how hot the track is going to affect the cars at all?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the hotter the track, the more slick the track is, meaning, you know, you can slide around. With the temperature being this low, considering it's a night race, there's going to be a lot more grip on the track. Cars are going to be able to go wherever really they want to, as it's like Christopher Papa under fire from the 14 machine, and that's probably the best battle we got on track right now.
Yeah, right now looking good out here with Papa trying to hold off Richie, and Richie getting by, but Papa and Roos able to make that pass cleanly, and it just seems like all the cars in the back, once all these passes go down, everyone's going to finally get spaced out enough that we're not going to have any issues. But we're soon to getting Chris Newman. 13 car gets a little loose there, but able to keep it off, as well as we're seeing the 48 get into the wall a little bit. You saw that on screen. But Chris Newman looking for a good points day today, all the way back to 15th, went a lap down. Issues for the 90 machine, not that great of a start so far.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, they could just be taking it easy. They might be banking on a couple cautions, keeping that out of the way. But it's definitely going to be an interesting race, because you want to be up on that high side. The 35 car got problems down the front stretch, hard into the inside wall. And will that bring out a caution? Nope.
Does not look so. Richie spinning out in that Chris car, and issues for the 35. Going to be going down at least a lap, might be more because of that damage. Yeah, but man, looking up front, Christopher Tate is already up to a 5-second gap, and no one is touching the 25 machine.
No, not at all. The battle I've been watching right now is the 97 car of Chris Bass closing in on the 01 on track, 09 in our hearts, of Christopher Lawrence, as they are dealing with the 90 car of Chris Newman as a lapper. 97 car has cut down that gap, as he is now to the back bumper.
Yeah, right on the back bumper of that Chris machine in front of him, of Christopher Lawrence. And, got to give all of our supports for the U.S. Chris's out there.
Absolutely. Everybody in the U.S. Chris, our thoughts and prayers, overseas and whatnot. Hopefully you make it home safe, as he is under fire from this 97.
The 97 machine of Chris Bass trying to get a second win, but mainly just get another great finish. Is behind these guys, Chris Hupka. I was take that back. That's actually some lap machines that were battling it out. It was Chris Newman also with the 7 and the 35. All these cars lapped down, battling to see who's going to be that lucky dog position, but it's looking like Chris Papa going a lap down, and he'll be the lucky dog right now.
Right now, great battle for the 6th position between Christopher Reese and Chris Personette, and the 37 machine of Chris Meza. They are all underneath a blanket right now, battling side by side down the front stretch. And
behind this group of cars is going to be your leader of Christopher Tate. And, you got to be careful here. Just lingering behind, waiting for these guys to get single file and maybe start to make some moves, as you're seeing Leach on the bottom of Meza. And they're still side by side now. And Reese now looks like the car who's trying to make a late move. I thought Personette was going to be staying with Takis, but Takis was the one that was pulled away and now is running down the 5 machine of Chris Hupka.
Yeah, something I've been watching with this 25 car. He's putting about 5/10 on the 2nd place machine a lap. That car is hooked up wherever he wants to go, and he's gaining ground as he has a gaggle of cars in front of him.
And these guys, they got to be careful. Get in the wall, come down, make a simple mistake. It could cost our leader greatly, as he's trying to get through lap traffic all around him. Christopher Tate, he's got to be patient here, and I know he wants to start moving, because with him, the longer he stays here, stuck where he's at, he's going to be losing time on Chris Bass.
Yeah, that last time Bass gained about 6/10 on him, as he has cut it back down to 6.2 seconds. So he's gained about a little over a second these past 2 laps. But this is something that Tate has to worry about, okay? One mistake from the guys around him, and it could ruin his race. It doesn't matter how dominant you are.
I mean, I got to say, Tom, it's fun to watch these guys racing here at Bristol. You never know what you're going to get. If you're going to get just that single lane, you're stuck where you're at type of racing. But right now, we're seeing those 2 lanes working at the best. But as a leader, you're so much faster than these guys. How much patience can you have with cars being stuck in front of you?
You know what? You're only 30 laps in, and you really just got to be careful. You know you have the fastest car on the track, as Bass cut it down another, looks like 0.6 or so this past lap. But as the leader, you got to just realize, like, you have the fastest car in clean air. That's the biggest thing, in clean air. You're going to have more patience than if you didn't have a fast or dominant car.
And speaking of that fresh air, Tate is so close to getting it. He just has to get by a handful. Now only 2 cars. 7 gets into the wall hard right there.
Yeah,
Still keeping it straight.
It's not the first time he's been in the wall tonight, as it looks like Tate has finally cleared everyone of those.
We're 34 laps in, and we are coming to whenever Tate gets up to the 5 car, that will be your top 5. Only cars that are left on the lead lap are your top 5 cars. This is a dominating run early here in the Chris City 250. Christopher Tate, this is some wicked speed this 25 car has.
Yeah, he's putting down laps that are really just insane. Tate ran a 15.99 that last lap. Chris Bass ran a 16.6, and in a lap and a half, the gap is back up to 6 seconds.
Right now, we're going to be taking a quick look at some of the other cars and passing that's going on. I mean, this battle for 6 still heating up, where you've got Leach and Roos right there, as well as Meza. These 3 cars. Oh boy, Leach almost completely losing it. I think he got in the wall there, and that 48 car possibly going to be losing 2 positions after that one mistake.
Yeah, it looks like the 48 car hit it square off the corner, so it doesn't look like the right side is crinkled up that much, so it might not affect him. Now, obviously, at this track, damage really isn't going to be that much of a factor. The high speeds and the downforce and the aero really doesn't affect much here.
And we're going to be taking a look at this 5 machine as he's going to be hounded down.
He's already
passed. I mean, Tate, here's the thing, right? Tate is having a dominating run, and this is kind of what he needed to have happen. As looking at the point situation, he's about 22 points away from our points leader of Chris M. Scott. And Scott did not make today's race, nor did second place in points of Chris Roberg. So these are precious points that Tate's going to be getting. And the car in front of him in points is going to be Christopher Takis. He's only 4 points ahead of him. And then Tate's 4th in points. Like I said, 22 points away from our leader. So a great points day if he can continue this dominance for the rest of this 209 laps. I mean, it's like a fantastic start for this 25 machine, and now you got to think, when are these cars going to come in for the pits?
Yeah, if they're running on a full fuel run, it's going to be a little while. These cars can go a long time on fuel here. The tires might be an issue. But speaking of Christopher Takis, he just moved up to the 3rd position, as he is still 13 seconds behind the leader.
And just looking at comparatively the lap times of Christopher Tate and everyone else, I mean, his best lap was almost a sub 15. And the next closest person was a 15.2. So that's 0.2 faster best laps compared to Christopher Tate and Chris Bass, who's in 2nd place.
Yeah, Chris Tate is putting a clinic on right now, as once he gets up to this 09 and 46 and everything, he is going to have to deal with more lap traffic. You got the 35 there, who's a lap car. You got the 90, who's a lap car. That's Chris Newman. And then you've got the 7 machine. And oh, the 35.
Oh, no. There goes Lawrence. Still no caution as they're spinning off of the track surface. That's why there's no caution there. But Christopher Lawrence went from 4th place now all the way back to 8th. finally getting that car fired up and around it goes. Still no caution flag. Are you surprised that there wasn't a caution for that one?
No, not really, because you know what? He was off the track surface. He was letting these guys go. He was honestly, the reason why he was sitting there so long is because he was looking for a spot to come back up on the track.
Well, now that brings us to only 3 cars left on the lead lap, and we haven't even started our first pit stop of the day. Christopher Tate, I don't think anyone can question it. Fastest car here, really, it's going to be him making a mistake or getting caught up in someone else's mistake that is going to make this 25 machine lose this race.
And I know racing here personally that when I had a dominant car like this, I would be scared immensely to get caught up in someone else's mistake, because that would be the only thing that could ruin my race.
I'm looking at the telemetry and some of the cars that are having some good battles. Got to move all the way back to 7th place, where you're seeing side-by-side action of Noblet and Hupka. And this is a battle, like once I said before, 7th place, and Noblet easily makes that pass on the 5 machine of that Chris car. And it was some great, just it seems like everyone's being pretty patient with everyone, not trying to make any bold moves. It just seems like every once in a while off the corner, that's when you'll see some cars making contact with one another, but usually it's people absolutely destroying that outside wall.
Yeah, getting off these corners, you have to time it perfectly, because if you hit the gas too soon, the car will push straight up to the wall, especially on these older tires.
Speaking of tires and being worn down, fresh air, both for the 25 and the 46. And I'm looking at it, those lap times look very similar. Just it looks like Tate is slightly faster than the 46.
Yeah, I think if the 46 can get to the 25, I think that's where he's going to be able to shine on these long runs. He's got a long way to go. He's got about a 12-second gap between him and the leader.
And there's just lap traffic all around. It's mainly now it's going to be the calculations of how many laps down will you be. As Hupka gets a little bit of issues, and that's to slow down Takis. There's the 5 and the 46 almost got into contact. You saw that on screen. Luckily there was no contact, but Takis able to get by the 5 machine of Chris Hupka.
As the 5 machine gets into the wall again, he's got some left rear damage. I don't think that's going to affect him, but he has had an eventful day so far.
Yeah, I mean, can you elaborate more on the damage? I mean, these guys, we've been seeing sparks fly from the outside wall in the middle of the corner. Is that hurting these cars?
Not really. I mean, it depends how hard you hit it. Like, if you just, here at Bristol, you can scrape the wall and you can be fine, as the 5 machine is under attack by the 25 again. He just lets him go. But, if you scrape the wall or something, whether it's going down the straightaway or the middle of the corner, it's not really going to affect you much, because you're hitting it square. And like I said before, the aerodynamics really don't mean as much here as a track like Atlanta or Texas or anything like that. So it might not affect them.
As you saw on screen there, Christopher Papa destroying the exit of turn number 4. Still able to keep that car straight, but it is slowed down. I think that hit possibly, I know for a fact it got him off his rhythm, but might have done a lot more damage. As our first car into the pits is going to be Chris Personette, and that 26 machine is, with how long he's been in the pits, I think he might have had a lot more damage than we were expecting. We're going to do a quick replay on this to figure out what happened to the 26 machine.
Yeah, it looks like the 26 machine has a lot of right side damage. Obviously, he's been in the outside wall. He's got a little rear end damage. So, I don't know, honestly, what happened.
You're going to see him grinding the wall here. I mean, there's a couple laps where he came into the pits, and then, yeah, he came off the wall, hit the inside wall there, outside wall again. Heavy damage for the 26. That's why he's in the pits right now, getting that damage repaired. We'll see if we can get that car back out there and running some clean laps. But back up front, it's still Takis running well with only your top 3 on the lead lap. But Takis, he's got to be a little worrisome because Tate is coming.
Yeah, Tate can see Takis in his windshield as Tate just floors it off turn 2. Passes 2 lap cars in the matter of a straightaway.
It seemed like they were both kind of trying to give room, but both of them heavy damage for Papa and Newman that those 2 cars were. Both of them running back in 12th and 14th position.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think anybody's going to really have anything for that 25. I think it's going to be a battle for who can finish where, because
Well,
everybody.
it might be who's going to have the least amount of laps on their lap down cars do we have? Or are you going to be 1 lap down, or are you going to be 6 laps down by the end of this thing? We've only ran 66 laps, and there's only 2 more cars left before everyone's 1 lap down.
Yeah, as Christopher Tate has basically ran down the last 2 cars on the lead lap. As the 97 is battling some lap traffic right now, and the 46 is catching the tail end of that.
Yeah, can you go back? Because I think there might be some other issues going on with Chris Bass, because I know Takis has been running faster than him, but that last lap, he was a lot slower than usual for Chris Bass.
So then, for the past couple laps, it looks like the 97 has been trying to get underneath that 09 machine. And
contact between the 01 and Bass, which is going to slow down Bass and hurt him just slightly, but really hurt the 01, and that almost got our leader involved in that thing. But our top 3 all here in action, but the 25 machine trying to lap both the 48 and the 97.
Yeah, as you see in front of them, the 48 cuts down in front of the 25. Looks like he's going to try and get out of the way. But you can see now the 97 and the 46 both battling for that position. That's not first place, folks. That is for second, as the leader is right behind him.
Yeah, the leader right there, third in line on the screen. And you're seeing the battle for second as our leader, trying to put everyone 1 lap down, if not more, here before we get to lap 80. I mean, this is impressive to see. I mean, Tate took off like a rocket at the start as he laps down 3rd place and now has 2nd in front of him, getting ready to lap everyone down here. Would it happen before lap 75?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. Especially, just the way he's running. I think he's going to follow the 46 for a little bit, and then once he gets that run off the corner, he's going to pass him.
I mean, this has been one of those you never really see these types of runs usually. I mean, have you ever been a part of a race where a car has been dominating this dominant so early on?
Fortunately. But, you know what? I'll tell you right now, being the guys that aren't this dominant, definitely a frustrating night. I know Personette has already taken his car behind the wall. He's going to finish 16th tonight. It's definitely a frustrating night to have anything like this happen, especially when you're running 2nd place. Like, hey, I'm having a good run, and then you see the leader right in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, I mean, it's all now about you battling yourself and possibly the other cars around you. I mean, you're seeing our leader trying to run down 2nd place, but actual battles for position back here, the 48 as well as the 17 of Chris Noblet and Richie. Nope, Richie actually isn't a part of this one, but that 37 machine of Chris Meza. These 3 cars in a line, all for position. This is for the battle for 5th place that's going on, and I believe right now we're about to see Tate make that pass. We're moving back up. Still not close enough to make the move, and I'm surprised, but at the same time, these guys are running very similar times. Lap traffic is what helped Tate catch up to Tax as fast as he did.
Yeah, I think Tate is just riding right now. Like I said, he knows he has the fastest car. He's about to put 2nd place a lap down. He could just be chilling, because who knows? He might want some guys to battle. If a caution does come out, if everyone goes a lap down, there's only going to be one other car. So, who knows, honestly.
We've had 2 cars pit since we saw Personette disconnect from the race, and that's going to be Chris Newman, who's in the pits getting a lot of repairs done. He has hit the wall very hard multiple times, and we'll see if he's able to get that car fixed up or if he'll take it behind the wall. Also, Christopher Lawrence, he is as well coming to the pits, but that might have been a scheduled stop because he did not come in to get repairs done on that car. Came in, got 4 fresh tires, and back out there.
Remember, he was the one that spun down the front stretch into the inside wall earlier. So, but something I've been watching. There might be only 1 car on the lead lap behind that 25, but behind that, there's only 2 cars 1 lap down.
Yeah, that is the one thing that's crazy. Is even if there is a caution, the cars that are battling out for that lucky dog position is going to be Chris. It's going to be Chris Bass and Christian
And
Roos.
there's a caution.
Caution's out, and that's going to go to Chris Bass because I do not believe Takis was passed by our leader yet.
He was not. Chris Bass will get the lucky dog. And he was not involved in caution.
And a quick review to see who was the cause of our caution here.
Honestly, I'm not quite sure.
I believe it might have been the 90 machine. Yes, it was coming off of turn number 4. You're going to see it here on screen, folks. You're going to see him. He's going to come off of 4, get loose, and just dumps it into the inside wall. Comes back on the racing surface due to the fact that he came to a stop on the racing surface or was so slow. Caution was thrown.
Yeah, you see, that's the difference between what the 90 did and the 09. The 09 kept it on the inside wall that was off the racing surface. That's why there was no caution. But as you saw, the 90 car hit the inside wall, went back onto the racing surface as he was spinning, and that's what ultimately brought out the caution.
We're going to do an inside cockpit view, so you'll see how this man was trying to save that car, but just inevitably lost it, just kept on drifting away from him, and he was trying to counter steer, not able to do so. Chris Newman's day that started off bad continues to get worse for that 90 machine.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chris Newman did not get off to a good start today, and this kind of just put the nail in the coffin on that one, as he's going to stay out there, but don't know how much damage he actually has.
Well, here's one thing that's going to be slightly different for us, right? You got ourselves at least 2 with Bass coming in. He'll be getting the lucky dog, and he'll be putting himself back on the lead lap. 3 cars will be on the lead lap. But Takis had to run through most of the field to get to second place. Now that's just going to be an even battle. Does this 46 have anything for Tate? It's going to be hard to tell.
I personally think if this 46 car can stay with Tate, he might have something, as it looks like the 46 does have a little nose damage. Yes, he does. So that could play a factor in what goes on between the 25 and him. I know the 25 car is spotless right now, as he has not gotten into the wall, any other cars or anything like that in 88 laps.
It's looking like we're going to have one car, a couple of cars coming out here. It's going to be Newman as well as Noblet in front of our leader, going to be taking the wave around. With this move, Noblet obviously must be thinking that there's going to be another caution really quick.
I think that's what he's banking on right now, because you know what? He is the only other car 1 lap down besides Christian Roos. So we'll see what happens with that. I know this 97 car, though, he's going to be trying to get back up to the front, as he's the lucky dog. He is the 3rd car on the lead lap, but he's going to have to restart behind everyone.
Yeah, he's going to have to start behind everyone besides Noblet. Looking back to see where Newman's at, because, yeah, he's also doing the wave around right now. But our top 3, I should say, that are on the lead lap, it's going to be Christopher Tate and Chris Takis. They'll be up front, but the other car that's on the lead lap, Chris Bass, all the way back to the end of the line. 1 lap down machines is going to be Christian Roos as well as Chris Noblet. And then you've got a long string of cars that are 2 laps down with Chris Jones as well as Chris Meza, Leach, Richie, and I believe that's your list of 2 cars that are lapped down. One machine that's 3 laps down, that's going to be Chris Hupka. Lawrence is going to be 4 laps down. 5 laps down is Christopher Reese. Everyone else kind of just having as many issues as you could count, as they're more than 5 laps down. And I don't think we're done with the possible chance of seeing everyone go 1 lap down, as it took about 80 laps before we saw Tate on the back bumper of Takis. It possibly if we go for another long green flag run like we just saw, we could be seeing the same scenario coming up again.
Definitely, as the pace car lights are off, and it should be pulling down. There it goes. And it looks like the green flag's back in the air, and the 25 with another great launch off the restart. But 46 stays with him.
Yeah, able to stay a lot closer than what Bass was doing last time, but you got to wonder, still a large gap. It is now, instead of a half a second, it's just 0.3 seconds. And, much better chance for Takis to stay with Tate, but as I say that, Tate's pulling away.
Yeah, Tate's opened it up to a little under 1 second already, as we are only 2 laps into this run. Chris Bass trying to make his way through the field as he is picking cars off one by one. But,
yeah, now Bass has he's got a cluster of cars that are in front of him. This is all battling it out.
Yeah, as
all these cars are for you got Richie, who, I mean, I can say they're all battling out for position, but they're all in different lap down positions. Believe though, Richie is 2 laps down, as well as Chris Jones, and Hupko's trying to pull away from everyone else. He is 3 laps down. Leach is in 9th place, 2 laps down, so he could possibly make a move as, car below them having some issues. I think that was the 33, yeah. Chris Jones having issues. Still able to keep it under him, though. Didn't look like he hit the inside wall, which is good to see. I want to give a credit to Chris Jones. He's the one who's making all of these, or at least I should say most of these amazing Chris-themed cars, taking these regular sponsored and themed machines and adding a little bit of a Chris spice on it.
I see what you did there, because and as I say that, he loses it off 4, and caution is out again.
And I bring out a great pun, and it gets swallowed up immediately. I'm so sorry, Chris Jones, for possibly, giving you that Kester's curse by putting some pressure with the camera on you.
Well, Chris Jones, I should say. You can blame Sam on that one, because he just threw you completely under the bus, and apparently he threw you into the wall as well.
And we'll take a quick look here on screen. You're going to see, we saw it live, but we'll see it once more. Almost the exact same scenario we saw with that 90 machine. Got loose off of 4 and just could not save it in time. And, Tom, we've seen the wreck twice. Same spot. Is there any way to save that car once it gets that loose off of 4?
You're carrying so much speed off the corners here. You're basically... once you get to a certain point in the corner, you're full throttle. So once the car snaps around like that, honestly, it's better off to just hook it to the right and see if you can just spin down the straightaway without hitting anything. But obviously, he did not do that, and he went into the inside wall hard, as we're going to have a new leader here.
It looks like it might be some...
Correction. The 46 just stayed out to lead a lap, and Christopher Tate will inherit the lead again.
Tate gets the lead back, and who's excited to see that caution come out? It's gonna be Chris Noblet, who believe he's gonna be doing another wave around, and thought possibly he would be in front of some of these guys. Not able to get so. Christian Roos gonna be getting his lap back, so we'll have 4 cars now on the lead lap. If Noblet, due to him staying out, will make it 5 cars on the lead lap, and I believe Richie as well staying out here. He might also be getting his lead back.
Are going to get their wave around, so they will be 1 lap down. I know Christian Roos was the only car 1 lap down when the caution came out, as Chris Bass is on pit road. He's fixing damage on that back end. And yeah, we have the 13 car sitting on pit road. That's Christopher Papa. The 62. For Reese, might be repairing some damage. He goes 5 laps down. Christopher Papa running at 15th, 17 laps down. So not the run we're having. And it looks like Chris Jones has taken his car behind the wall.
Chris Jones, very hard lick there that brought out our second caution. Right now we're looking at Takis. He's bringing his car back in again to get more damage repaired. We talked about this at the start of that last restart. It looked like there was some front end damage on that 46. There might be even more damage on that 46 than we initially thought. As also some other cars got some damage repaired. Bass got a tad bit of repairs done, but it seems like from everyone 5th on back had some major repairs they needed to get fixed up, and they are now fixed up and ready to go. But our leader, same car, that 25 machine of Christopher Tate.
Yeah, the one thing that everyone has to worry about if you have front end damage here, it might not affect you that much, but if you hit the radiator or anything along those lines, you can get engine damage. So the car might look fine, but you could be down on power.
Yeah, I've seen some weird things with iRacing. It's just the physics engine sometimes throws these cars with a simple tap. could ruin your day. Pace car lights are off as he pulls off. We're about to go green here with 102 laps led, 149 laps to go.
Tate pulls out to another big lead as the battle is for second between Christopher Takis and Chris Bass. Takis able to pull away from that 97 machine from restarting third.
Yeah, I mean, Bass having a much better restart now due to the fact that he doesn't have to start all the way in the back.
On stretch.
7 car around. Did that bring out a caution at my end? I'm free. My controls are frozen.
Bring out a caution as he just checked up, hit the wall, and Chris Newman sent him around.
And now I've got power back, so we'll be taking a quick look at this. Let's bring out a replay. Bring out our third caution of the day. Cautions breed cautions, and I think some people are happy to see this one coming out.
It looks like the 35 machine of Christopher Ritchie. He was not involved in that wreck, and he will be getting the lucky dog.
As we're seeing the play out now, and these guys going into turn number 3 and coming off of 3 onto 4 and off the wall. Yeah, that's a hard lick on the 7 machine. Also huge front end damage for the 90, but I also think Lawrence of that 01, 09 machine also had some slight damage due to that accident.
Sure, if Lawrence was actually involved. I don't think he was actually involved in that. I think that
he was scraped a little bit by the 7 when he was coming on the front stretch.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a weird fluky contact that happened.
Actually, no. It looks like the 01 got the damage from the. Oh, it looked like a little bit of net code. I don't think that was anything too big, but it doesn't look like we have anyone hitting, as I am correct, at least from the front 3.
I would imagine the front 3 aren't going to be pitting. I mean, they just came in, right? So there's no reason for them to come in unless they really want to top off, as it looks like Christopher Ritchie's coming in.
Chris Bass was the first car to hit pit road, possibly get some more damage repair. He's got a lot of back-end damage. That's not going to really affect you much. It could affect the handling on the car a little bit, but top speed-wise, I don't think it's going to matter. And like you said, Christopher Ritchie, he's going to be back on the lead lap, but he came in to get some repairs done as well.
Well, I mean, it was looking good at the start. We went about 85 laps green at the start of this thing. Saw a couple of cars spinning out but staying off the racing surface, not bringing out a caution. But we've had a quick 3 cautions since then. And, I'm kind of not surprised, just due to the fact of the phrase, caution breeds out cautions.
Yeah, I was going to mention to you that same phrase, cautions breed cautions. I don't think that's going to be the last caution we see tonight, as Bass is back on pit road to, looks like, bang out the rest of that damage. I don't know how much he has, but the back end's looking pretty good right now.
Back end's looking better and better every single time he comes in, so Chris Bass, he's only going to be falling back to 5th place. It's not a bad move for him to come into the pits. We'll put him right back up there, up front. Christopher Ritchie, he's got a lot of damage that he fixed up this past time he was in the pits. So with that 35 machine, he'll be starting all the way in the back just because he got that free pass for himself. So he'll still have to work through.
Another car that I've seen that's actually pretty spotless right now is the 14 machine. He's going to restart 3rd. He just got back on the lead lap 2 cautions ago, as it looks like pace car is in again. And we'll see if Tate can actually get a good start again. Not a good start as he's used to.
A 14 car, you talk about him having a good time and his car looking clean. Issues for him as well as the 01 and the 37 contact at the start of this race. I saw him just bolt to the inside for the 14 machine, and I don't know what exactly happened. I think you can go back and check that out, but early issues for the 14 car.
Looks like he spun the tires shifting up into 3rd gear, and that's what's going to happen. That's why he's falling back. Didn't hit anything though, as it looks like the 37 had the exact same thing happen to him. As
Ritchie still having issues getting up to speed, but Roos able to make clean work of the 35 machine. He's trying to get back up to where Chris Bass is, but our leaders right now, 1 second gap between first and second, and Tate once again back on track.
Yeah, Tacket's definitely got a better restart this time, as he's not letting that 25 machine pull away that quickly. His lap time's about 2/10 slower than Tate. He's obviously might have gotten all that damage repaired, but I still don't think that Tacket's has anything for that 25 machine.
All right, now looks like the 14 car looked like he was making it easy moves on Richie. Richie got his back onto a rhythm, able to get by the 14 car now. So even when you think a car that seems to be faster gets by another one, doesn't mean that your rhythm, you could get off rhythm very easily and lose all that time you gained.
Yeah, one mess up here, as you saw from my race yesterday. You got to be in rhythm. I know as the 13 car gets really loose. He's been fighting a loose race car all day long. He gets loose in front of the 35, but I know Sonoma's a lot different than Bristol, but it doesn't really matter where you go. If you are out of a rhythm, it's going to take you a little while to get back into a rhythm.
Right now I'm watching Chris Meza back in 7th place, getting passed by Chris Leach, and that 37 car is still in the wall. I think he's trying to utilize the wall. I know there's a way to just bounce off of the center point, use it kind of as a diamond to get through the corner. How many times can you do that before you really start hurting your car?
If you're hitting it in the right spot, I know it's frowned upon in the iRacing community and the league community and everything like that. But if you hit it in the right spot over and over and over again, it's not really going to damage your car. You got to hit it square at the right spot. But obviously that 37 car has a lot of damage. I don't think he's trying to use that. As I've been watching him for the past couple laps, he hasn't gone anywhere near the wall. But I think the car is just damaged to the point where, as the 62 is drifting through turn 1 underneath the 37.
Yeah, that 62 machine of Reese. I mean, he's 6 laps down, still showing that he's got pace, but here comes 35 for Richie between them, trying to make as many moves as possible, and Reese, as well as Roos behind him. This is for position number 4 with that 35 to 14 as they're trying to get by lap cars.
Yeah, these lap cars are really allowing that 14.
I thought I saw Papa spin out, but he didn't. It just looked weird on our camera, and I thought he lost it for a second there.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. He's been fighting, like I said, he's been fighting a loose race car all night long. A couple of these guys have been fighting loose race cars. I know when I've raced here before, it's not really a loose track except off the corner, but these guys are getting loose through the whole corners.
Right now, this is Noblet, and he's 2 laps down. The car in front of him, and that 37 machine in Meza, he's as well 2 laps down. That's a position that can be made for 7th place if Noblet can get into what we've been saying constantly throughout this race, back into that rhythm.
Yeah, as it looks like now, Tate has checked out on the 46. So it's just a matter of time, honestly. As it looks like Tate, that last run, ran his best lap of the race of a 14.9. So I think he's finding speed out there. As Tate trying, looks like he has clear track in front of him for a little bit. As he's actually, the next car in front of him is the 14 machine. So that's 5th place. As history... Alright, I don't know where Sam is, but you know what? Hopefully we are on board with someone, as the 4... It looks like the 14 and the 35 car are trying to battle their way through lap traffic as the 25 machine is closing in. The laps have been continuing to count down. Tate laps the 14 machine as he's got his sights set on 4th place now, which is the 35 machine. He got back on the lead lap that last time by under the last caution. So we'll see if all that's going to go for naught, as Tate now opens up the lead on second place to a little over 6 seconds.